Howdy everyone, it's Sam. Welcome back to Wobble Enjoy Sports. If you're new around here, hope I can get you to consider to like the content and subscribe to the channel. But if you are a regular around these here parts, thank you very much for the continuous support. After 4 rounds, the Mackay Cutters are still undefeated. The only team in all North Queensland Rugby League to still remain undefeated. They are 4-0 coming into round number 5 of the competition, and they had to do it really tough in some tricky wet conditions this past Sunday down at Logan in their first leg of back-to-back away games. This is a really tough end of season for the Mackay Cutters, which did start this past weekend, and this Sunday, while it is still a blockbuster, it is still, I think it's first versus fourth or thereabouts. Unfortunately, there are a couple of big omissions from both teams for varying different reasons coming into this game. However, it still remains important. It is still a blockbuster in prospect. Let's preview the Western Clydesdales versus the Mackay Cutters for the first time ever in the BMD Premiership. This Sunday, the Western Clydesdales host the Mackay Cutters. It is the first ever meeting between the two clubs in the BMD Premiership. There is also a Host Plus Cup game happening immediately after this one, but this is the game that we are previewing. It kicks off at 12:25 this weekend. It obviously is the first ever trip to Toowoomba for the Mackay Cutters BMD Premiership team. Going into the team list now, and we'll start with the home side. Natalia Webb is at fullback. Georgia Sim and Kayla Jackson are the wingers. Leanne Tufunga and Sarah Hoger are the centres. Captain Shanae Chisolka and Taylor Fenton are the halves pairing. The forward pack, Steph Hancock, Jessica Reeves, Therese Ayton, they are the front row. Mackenzie Zeller, Zoe Cook and Tara Renke is the back row. And then the interchange, Casey Manzelman, Caitlin Colley, Ashley Macon, and as you can see there, an identity has yet to be revealed as the fourth player for the Western Clydesdales this Sunday. So that's okay. You want to play mind games, Western Clydesdales? That's fine. You know what, Mackay Cutters, I reckon they're coming into Toowoomba with a surprise of their own, so two can play that game. Speaking of the Mackay Cutters team list, let's get into them. Crystal Blackwell is at fullback. Kim Hunt and Ebony Rastrand-Smith are the wingers. Libby Sura and Jasmine Peters are the centres. Kayla Shepherd and Tallulah Tillett are the halves pairing, and Tillett takes the captaincy this weekend. Lily Peacock, S.A. Banu and Alicia Ford are the front row. Ford, the dummy half. The back row, Bree Chester, Tiana Rastrand-Smith and Pani Rupapere are the back row. Interchange, Bella Muka, Lyric Mara and Elle Stitt. And in a jersey number 18, Madison Hegarty, 19, Shania Power. That's the surprise that I'm talking about that might whack a punch this Sunday. And of course, in jersey number 20, that has been named Montana Best. Good to see her named again in the team list. Let's focus more on the Western Clydesdales now. So in this team this weekend, the 1-17, there is 4 Queensland Sapphires that played in the Women's National Championships team, in the Clydesdales team that went on to go through that tournament completely undefeated. One of them is the fullback Natalia Webb. This is her debut season and she has already played a game or two. The other couple of players, Georgia Sim playing on the wing, and then the halfback, Taylor Fenton. Now, I did watch a couple of games of the Queensland Sapphires in that Women's National Championships, not all of them, so I can't attest to the entirety of their skills on display. But I can say for certain that Taylor Fenton does look like she's got a hell of a lot of class about her, and she's got a tremendous amount of support behind her as well, from what I've seen online and from what I saw on the coverage as well. So Taylor Fenton, she's definitely got she's definitely got the skills to be a great halfback of the future. So definitely keep an eye on Miss Fenton this weekend. The other Queensland Sapphire that partook in the Queensland Sapphires this past month or so, Miss Zoe Cook, playing as the second rower for the Western Clydesdales this weekend. Another lady that I do want to make mention of is Ashley Mackay. She represents the Australian Defence Force team that participated in the Women's National Championships this past month, and therefore she is enlisted, or was enlisted. I'm not too sure what the status is, but she has been in the army. So I thank her for her service so far, or do thank her for her service that she did. But Ashley Mackay, I think that's a tremendous story to have, and she has come from the West Tigers as well. I think she was born in New South Wales, or she's come from New South Wales through the West Tigers Academy as well, and now she finds herself in the Western Clydesdales team. So that's awesome. Casey Mantleman, sister of Emma Mantleman. She was with the Mackay Cutters last season, but she obviously had a couple of other people in front of her, so she has shifted down to the Clydesdales, and I think this might be her second appearance, or maybe it is her debut appearance this Sunday for the Western Clydesdales. Leanne Tafunga in the centres, another lady that I do want to mention as well, Kiwi international, a superstar for the West Tigers last season. I thought kind of, in a way, unlucky. She was nominated for sure, but I think Tafunga was sensational in the NRLW last year for the West Tigers. She went absolutely pig wild, hog wild sort of a thing. And then Shanae Shizolka. I've seen her play centre, fullback, on the wing. I've never seen Shizolka play in the 5'8" position before. So that will be very, very interesting to see what will come of that. I don't know what a kicking game would be like, so I imagine Taylor Fenton will have 90% responsibility. And then we get into Miss Jessica Reeves. Now, I've been trying to hone in on how she's been going this season, because she still is under contract with the North Queensland Cowboys. Just because you're on another team to the Mackay Cutters doesn't mean that I ain't friggin' rooting for you, and I am rooting for Miss Jessica Reeves. And I'll tell you what, man, maybe it's because she debuted last year for the Cowboys and she was kind of limited in her minutes, but there is a passing game that has developed with Miss Jessica Reeves this year, and a lot of them are sticking. She's got a really good passing game, and now I evolve into the Western Clydesdales. At times, Western Clydesdales have a really, really dangerous attack. They have two women running diagonally to the left, and then a third woman comes in and runs the opposite direction, and that's the lady that goes to. And Jessica Reeves, while sometimes her hit-up numbers may not be the best, it is because that she is like a lock sort of a position at the moment. She's just got a really good passing game at the moment, and you would get that when you've got Ali Brigginshaw in the team, who is not playing this weekend. Fortunately, unfortunately, what team you go for is how you would word that. But Ali Brigginshaw is having a stronger season, but misses this weekend's clash due to a concussion. Also missing for the Western Clydesdales, Clydesdales and Kezzy Apps. Those two ladies are flying down to New South Wales this weekend to participate in a New South Wales training camp. So that's why Kezzy Apps and Clydesdales are not playing. Those are three absolutely enormous omissions from the Western Clydesdales. In being that Kezzy Apps, Ali Brigginshaw, they defend next to each other. I mean, friggin' hell, imagine that. Having the State of Origin captains for both Queensland and New South Wales as your defenders on one side of the ruck, you can just absolutely put the D2R sign up immediately and go the other way of the paddock. But Kezzy Apps and Ali Brigginshaw and Clydesdales are not playing this weekend. And just a special shout out to Kezzy Apps as well, man. She still resides in New South Wales. She hasn't moved to Queensland. She goes up to Toowoomba. She flies up every Thursday or Friday, and then she plays the game and then goes back home to New South Wales and has 3 days to herself and obviously she does her own training. But Kezzy Apps is getting them frequent flyer points up this year, so don't doubt her commitment for sure, just because she's still living in New South Wales, because she's still coming up to Toowoomba, helping out the Clydesdales, and they are ripping and tearing, and she too along with that as well. So that huge inspiration is not going to be there though. However, you would imagine that the coach and that the leaders like Shisoka around would say, oi, yeah, Ali Brigginshaw's not here and Kezzy Apps ain't here. Think of the effort that Apps is doing and putting in every single week. We're going to match that this weekend, whether she's with us or not. Hey, let's do it for Kezzy Apps. I hope none of the Western Clydesdales just saw that, because they might use that as a bit of pepper to make their game a little bit better this weekend. Sorry. I would say that in watching the Clydesdales for 2 weeks in a row now, I would say that their left edge defensively is their Achilles heel. And now this is where I start floating into the Mackay Cutters now. Now, I think the weakness for the Western Clydesdales this weekend, and has been all season long, in my opinion, with all due respect, their left edge defensively. I think a lot of their points has come down that left edge defensively for the Western Clydesdales, and that means for the Mackay Cutters this weekend, they're coming up against Ebony Rathstrand-Smith, Jasmine Peters, and Bree Chester. And again, I've got to make mention of Bree Chester. I think she's got to be in the conversation for one of the most improved female rugby league players throughout the off-season. She's topped the tackle count every single week and has only missed on average 1 tackle a game. She missed 2 on the weekend, but she made 30 effective tackles this past weekend down at Logan. Bree Chester having an absolutely amazing season in the BMD Premiership. And then you've got Jasmine Peters, who ran for 7 times for 78 metres and made 9 tackles with 0 misses. Also scored a try in this contest. I think Jasmine Peters was absolutely one of the difference makers for the Mackay Cutters this past weekend. I thought she had a really strong game. Now, going into the halves pairing, Miss Kayla Shepherd, her teammate in the Women's National Championships in the Queensland Sapphires team was Taylor Fenton. So it is these 2 young girls that were teammates only a month ago that are colliding this weekend. So it is an interesting little battle within itself to see which one of the halves will come out on top this Sunday out there at Toowoomba. So that will be a cool little one-on-one battle. But Tallulah Tillett, I think that she last week, her running meters, she made approximately she made 6 runs for 62 meters. Her kicking game enabled us to have more kicking meters compared to the South Logan Magpies. And I think Tallulah Tillett took great control of the team and has taken really good control all season long. So Tallulah Tillett, she scored an amazing kick for herself try as well. That took it out to, I think, 22-6 or thereabouts. I think she's having a really strong season, maybe going a little bit underrated and underappreciated, because against the Falcons and in other games as well, she's just made a couple of those runs, whether it be for herself or to get an offload away. She's made some really vital plays for us in crunch time moments, and I think Tallulah Tillett needs to be very much applauded for that. Big time. And then the forward pack as well, Madison Hegarty, 7 runs for 95 metres, scoring a try again. I can't believe I did forget to talk about it, but I did put in a voice recording. Scoring a hat-trick the week before, doing what she did this past weekend. Now, she has been named as 18th woman, so maybe she's just getting herself a bit of a breather or thereabouts, but Madison Hegarty is an absolute power of strength, man. She is so much fun to watch. And then Lily Peacock again, doing her thing. I was right in front of her when she put in her first 20-25 minutes or so. She came off the paddock absolutely exhausted, red hot, completely wet in all the rain and the mud and all that jazz. Lily Peacock just works her ass off, and I'm just an absolute massive fan of Miss Lily Peacock. So for the Mackay Cutters this weekend, Emma Manzelman is not around, don't know the details of that. And then you've got Mr. Kaya Whitfeld, who has been called into the New South Wales camp. And then there's one more omission, and that's Shai Mulheisen. She has been omitted, and in comes Lyric, Mara, and El Stitt as well at the same token. But that lady in jersey number 19 is that surprise that might be packing a punch this Sunday. Miss Shania Power has been named in jersey number 19, and while she hasn't played a game, I think, since the month of August, I would dare tend to suggest, she will be rusty. Hopefully she gets through a captain's run okay, and that she will be able to participate in this game this weekend, because if she comes in, she's going to be a world of difference, I'm sure, no matter how rusty that she may be. So hopefully it's this weekend. If not, it looks like it's going to be the week after that Shania Power, who was the BMD Premiership player of last season, comes into the foray finally for the Mackay Cutters, and that would only leave Miss China Palata, who is looking pretty strong these days as well. Just been keeping an eye on her Instagram and her training habits and updates and all that jazz, and she seems to be coming along very, very nicely. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that Miss Palata, touch wood, does come onto the paddock for us down the track in the next 3 weeks or so. But as for this weekend, if the Western Clydesdales don't want to name that 17th player and leave a surprise for us and play some head games, well, having Shania Power on the reserves list is all the mind games that we need to maybe get over the top of the Western Clydesdales this Sunday. So in closing, I do think that the Mackay Cutters can go 5-0 in 2024. I think they can go down to Toowoomba in their second leg of back-to-back away games and pip the Western Clydesdales. I think that with Peters, Rafstrand Smith, and then you've got Miss Breechester going down that left edge defensively of the Clydesdales, which has been their Achilles heel this year. I think that that's an area that we can exploit. Seeing that Ali Brigginshaw, Kezi Apps, who defend next to each other, are out, it means that the likes of Tiana Rafstrand Smith has a little bit more of a red carpet to utilise this Sunday, with all due respect to Taylor Fenton, and I think maybe Zella or Zoe Cook this weekend. Well, there she is. Also, I'm going to be there at Toowoomba this weekend. I've never been to Toowoomba before, so it's going to be great to back them again. Hopefully I'll get a seat in the grandstand too. So come on, you Mackay Cutters. I know that they can friggin' do it. Also, best of luck to Miss Jessica Reeves as well, who is playing for the Western Clydesdales in this game. She's had a great, strong season so far. I'm sure she's going to have a rip-roaring game this Sunday as well against a lot of her current teammates for the NRLW Cowboys. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you. Take care. Adios.